मैं अपने आप को टूटते बिखरते देखती हूँ। रोज मैं अपने आप को मजबूत करने की कोशिश करती हूँ। 24 घंटे ये सोचती रहती हूँ कि ऐसा क्या करूँ कि मैं मेरे हस्बैंड को घर ले आऊं। हमारी लड़ाई लंबी है, कठिन भी बहुत है। हम इसे लीगली फाइट करते हैं, वो हमें पॉलिटिकली परेशान और परस्त करने की कोशिश करते हैं। उनके पास सब है, पावर है, पैसा है, पोजीशन है, प्रेस है, पुलिस है, जुडिशरी है, एवरीथिंग। हमारे पास सिर्फ और सिर्फ सच्चाई है। Few days ago, this prestigious university celebrated 100 glorious years. On its centenary celebration, one cannot help but compare the significant changes in the country then and the significant changes in the country now. For the past century, Aligarh Muslim University has given the nation as well as the world some of the finest minds, thinkers, and leaders. It has and continues to hone, nurture, and encourage free thinkers, brave individuals, independent minds with a will to pursue their passion and what they believe in, with relentless dedication, but most importantly, to look in the face of injustice and courageously stand for truth and justice, to be the sane voice of reason in a tempest of chaos and misinformation. Today, I would like all of you to take a minute from your day and just look around. What do you see? Do you see a nation you recognize? I surely do not. This is not the India I grew up in. The India of my youth was secular, educated, tolerant, inclusive. The India I see today stands in stark contrast to the very fundamental values enshrined in our Constitution. The last few years have witnessed a systematic departure of our fundamental rights, dissipation of the value of education, and complete desecration of the sense of security to which each and every individual of this sovereign, secular nation rightly felt entitled to. Instead, present times have been endowed with polarization, systematic propagation of hate and violence, subversion of constitutionally independent bodies, and desecration of the very fabric of our constitutional values. With every passing day, the expectation of a pluralistic India seems to be vanishing from the cloud of uncertainty and supplication, which is sadly the norm of the new India. Polarizing, directive forces developed in the past few years have risen to a dangerous degree, which do not coincide with the best interest of the nation and its people as a whole. The past few years have witnessed systematic targeting and journalists, officers, students, any and everyone who dared to raise a voice of dissent. Dangerous precedents have been set by making examples out of honest, upright, and diligent individuals who have demonstrated the courage to stand up and question this regime. Be it the likes of Gauri Lankesh, Justice Loya, Father Stan, numerous students and individuals who are being penalized and incarcerated for protesting peacefully. Our time today may run out, but perhaps the list of innocent men and women vindictively victimized by this regime would not. My husband, Mr. Sanjiv Bhatt, is an example of one such dangerous precedent set by this regime. My husband, Mr. Sanjiv Bhatt, is the sole surviving witness to the state's complicity in the 2002 Gujarat pogrom. Over 2 decades, Sanjeev has been paying the heavy price of having the unyielding courage and integrity to stand up against this draconian regime. 31 years ago, freshly graduated from IIT Mumbai, Sanjeev joined the Indian Police Services. Fire in his heart and dreams in his eyes. He wanted to change the world. For 27 years, Sanjiv Bhatt dedicatedly and diligently served the people of this country, dispatching his duty with utmost integrity and honor. His years of diligent service were rewarded in the end by endless persecution, vindictive hounding, and political victimization, all because he dared to speak up against this regime, while others cowered behind deafening silence. 2002, as many of you will remember, marked a dark phase in the history of modern day India. Following the riots of 2002, in 2009, a court appointed commission was set up to investigate the state's complicity in the 2002 Gujarat pogrom. While the majority of the officials either feigned amnesia or refused to depose before the commission, my husband courageously and truthfully deposed before various courts appointed commissions at great personal and professional cost, knowing fully well the dire repercussions his honesty would garner. The vindictive victimization of my husband, Mr. Sanjiv Bhatt, started in 2009, only dangerously escalating with every passing year. Despite being continuously victimized and hounded by the state, Sanjiv did not once break down or succumb to political pressure. This is what Sanjiv Bhatt is, a man who always puts the interest of others before his own, a man of immense honor and integrity. Since then, no stone has been left unturned to discredit, malign, and destroy my husband's reputation and credibility, using any and every means to intimidate, break, and bury my husband's voice and resolve. However, the harassment took a new, more frightening, and ugly turn in 2018. On the 5th of September 2018, the police barged into our home in the early hours of the morning and took away my husband under the false pretext of questioning him in a 30-year-old case, a case which has been duly investigated and stayed by the court decades ago. In an attempt to permanently silence and discredit my husband, in a gross miscarriage of justice, my husband, Mr. Sanjiv Bhatt, was maliciously and falsely framed and convicted to life imprisonment in a 30-year-old case for a crime he did not commit, a case which is nothing but a work of fanciful and unsubstantiated presumptions. His only crime being that he did not buckle under political pressure, that he dared to stand up against some of the most powerful men in present-day India. It is extremely strange that how the death of a man who was never ever arrested by Sanjiv Bhatt, nor was he ever in his custody, or was interrogated by him, whose demise occurred after 18 days of being out of custody, without any indications of internal or external trauma or injury. A death which was examined and reported by the forensic medicine experts to have no indication of torture or grievance, was declared to be a custodial death. There cannot be a more blatant example of vindictive prosecution of a totally innocent man who did nothing but perform his duty in an outstanding and exemplary manner. My husband's truth, integrity, and resolve pose such an undismissible threat that no stone is being left unturned to silence the voice of an honest and upright officer once and for all. Since the past 2 years, 3 months, and 21 days, I have been running from pillar to post, from one court to another, to get justice for my husband. It has been 843 days to be precise since I have been fighting for his bail, each day seeming like an unending decade. हमारी लड़ाई लंबी है, कठिन भी बहुत है. हम इसे लीगली फाइट करते हैं. वो हमें पॉलिटिकली परेशान और परस्त करने की कोशिश करते हैं. उनके पास सब है, पावर है, पैसा है, पोजीशन है, प्रेस है, पुलिस है, जुडिशरी है, एवरीथिंग. हमारे पास सिर्फ और सिर्फ सच्चाई है, उसूल है, ऑनेस्टी है, निडरता है और आप सबका साथ है. रोज मैं अपने आप को टूटते बिखरते देखती हूँ. रोज मैं अपने आप को मजबूत करने की कोशिश करती हूँ. 24 घंटे ये सोचती रहती हूँ कि ऐसा क्या करूं कि मैं मेरे हस्बैंड को घर ले आऊं. Sanjeev always says, this fight is much bigger than him, me, or you. It isn't against an individual. Rather, it is against an ideology which perpetuates and actively promotes hate and violence. Today, when the very defenders are being victimized, it becomes our responsibility to defend the defenders. It is time to be the voice for all the brave men and women who are being prosecuted for being courageous voice of dissent. संजीव भट्ट लाखों लोगों की आवाज है. आज अब उनकी आवाज सलाखों के पीछे बंद है, तो हमारा फर्ज बनता है कि हम सब मिलके उनकी आवाज बने और उसे और बुलंद करें. दिखा देते हैं कि अगर एक संजीव भट्ट की आवाज दबा देने की कोशिश की तो लाखों संजीव भट्ट खड़े हो जाएंगे. We stand today at a dangerous precipice in our history. Our action or inaction will mold the future of our nation and the future generations. Today, more than ever, we need the courage of you, the youth, the wisdom of the old, and the collective vision of all for a greater tomorrow. Yours is the duty and burden to be the voice of the suppressed and the strength of the oppressed, to salvage our beloved nation from the shackles of totalitarianism, to preserve the nation from the draconian forces from within and protect its fundamental values enshrined in our Constitution. But most importantly, to weld and remake a nation which has been polarized and shredded into fragments to once again stand tall in its value of secularism and inclusiveness, assuring all of its citizens justice, equality, and liberty. Let us not allow polarization, hate, violence, and misinformation to be the surging wave of the future, and honesty, secularism, tolerance, and fundamental rights to become the ebbing tide. From where we stand today, we do not know what the future holds, but one thing that we do know is that our democracy is dying. Facing the gore realities of today, keeping faith in the possibilities of tomorrow, in the face of our crumbling democracy and dissipating constitutional fundamental rights, our purpose is to protect and perpetuate the values enshrined in the very fabric of our nation, our Constitution. May all of us be granted with the strength, courage, vision, wisdom, and above all, faith to give it all to preserve our democracy, to not let the spirit of our nation perish. You can afford to stay apolitical only if you don't mind losing all the liberties that you associate with being human. If you choose to pretend that Indian democracy will continue to survive without your honest and informed participation, then you forfeit the right to complain about anything that goes wrong with you and your loved ones. We will have to be the winds, the sail, and the rudder in the sea of subversion and misinformation that steers the nation towards change. When repression and injustice becomes the norm, resistance becomes our duty.